Hey, everybody in Collective. How are you guys doing? Welcome to yet another episode of Behind the Callouts with your two beautiful hosts of the Collective Esports family, Doug Guy, and of course, yours, one and truly, Mex. Doug,
Wow.
how you doing, man?
Good. How are you today?
Doing great, doing wonderful. Great to be back. Great for another episode of Behind the Callout. We're on episode five?
Four.
Four, five? Four? We're on episode four.
We're getting around 200 views per episode, which is great.
I know. This has been a very fun podcast to do. With us today is going to be our special host, as usual. You probably know him from NH. They have really made themselves known over the last couple of weeks. They have, and probably what's going to be best known for, is going to be the first and, I believe, only team for the last couple of weeks, other than the team they just recently faced, but one of the only teams to face and defeat F6, who was the standing champions in their title. It is going. I believe it's. I'm trying to remember. It's Remnants, right? I can never. It's either Remnants or Eclipse. I can never tell by the Jitsu.
It's Eclipse.
It's Eclipse. Okay, so yeah, NH Eclipse is here with us today. It's always hard to tell with the Jitsu, but yeah, NH Eclipse is here with us today, and he's going to give us a little bit of insight on what he feels about the playoffs. Talk a little bit on that F6 match and how they felt beating the undefeated champions, the Collective, and after tonight's win against X6 or Check Six, even the ones who
Check
recently just took Checkmate, who recently just took first place in the Collective standings. Now they have a spot in the playoffs that is going to be something we got to talk about as well. So I'm going to let Doug start it off from here, and hope you guys enjoy episode 8. Let's go. We're going strong.
Definitely not episode 8, but let's go.
Episode 8 because it's twice before.
Okay, so for everyone listening, we are recording this podcast at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, which means that the final game of the season has not been played yet between Shadow Gaming and God Tier, which means some of the things we are talking about have variables in them, such as who is going to be making it to standings. Also, shout out to my guy Raven, who edits these podcasts. He does a great job with them. You guys are obviously loving them, getting a ton of views every week. But he has put together for us a quick graphic. You guys will see the nice one that Titan will make, but he has made a quick graphic for us in between games here so that we can see what's going on so far. So if we look at the American Siege Conference standings, all the games have been finished. In the top seed, Prevail Esports with 23 points. Then in second, LGI, and then the bottom two, Farside Gaming and Adult Rush, both with 18 points. What are your reactions on this, Eclipse?
I think Prevail has been, clearly from their scores and their point total, they've been the strongest team in Collective throughout the season. So looking forward to, if it so happens that we're in the playoffs, looking forward to maybe getting a shot against playing them from the other divisions, since all these teams would be new to us. Watched Farside play their game today. They put in a good showing. I particularly don't want to play Farside because they like to ban Jaeger and then main Ying, which is super toxic. But and then Adderall Rush and LGI are both strong competitors, and they have their on days, they have their off days. So hopefully we don't catch any of them on an on day.
Yeah, you guys actually being in the National Siege Conference standing, so most of this stuff is pretty straightforward. A little bit of surprised that DBX and Maiden didn't make it in, but only 4 teams can make it, 8 teams in total from the 2 divisions. Let's look at the National Siege Conference standings, which has a lot more variability in them. So we have the God Tier versus Shadow Gaming game has not been played at the time of this recording. So we don't actually know who the 4 teams playing in the playoffs are from the National Siege Conference standings. It's also very hard to know, depending on what happens in that game later today, who will make it, because we know that if God Tier wins, God Tier is in, New Horizons are in, because Shadow Gaming has 16 points. But if Shadow Gaming wins, then all 3 of those are tied with 19 points, and the first decider for Collective is round win-loss differential. And we don't have those statistics on hand. I'm sure they've been shared with me as I'm one of the main statistics people, but I don't really know where to find them in the millions of files we have for statistics. But so far, Check 6 and F6 are guaranteed from the National Siege Conference at the time of recording in the playoffs. F6 with 24 points being in first place for all of the league, and Check 6 in second place with 22 points. What are your reactions on this, Eclipse?
Well, I know Check 6 and F6 pretty well, as we just played Check 6 there, won today. And then 2 weeks ago we played F6 and we won against them as well, actually both on Villa. So nobody ban Villa against us, please, if we make it. No, they're both strong teams. They can both win on any day, any map. So, I mean, them and Prevail, I believe. They're going to be the strongest teams in the playoffs that we're going to have to deal with if we are so lucky to make it. But I mean, God tier is also, they kind of went through a lull period, right? They were really strong at the beginning of the season. They went through some roster changes kind of midway through when we had a bunch of teams drop out of collective. So we had a little bit of time so people could adjust their rosters. But it seems like they've hit their stride. They finally started to mesh. So I'm really interested to see what happens tonight between God tier and Shadow Gaming. Obviously, I'll be cheering for God tier. But it's going to be an interesting game. And frankly, I think every single team, no matter who makes it in from the National Siege Conference, is going to be strong. Like there's not one thing I can say that's bad about any of the teams that are in the runnings for making it. Obviously, Check 6 has their playstyle, F6 has theirs, God tier has theirs, and Shadow has theirs as well. They're all different. They're all unique. So I think it's just going to come down to who counter strats the most, who does their studying, who does their VODs and stuff like that. Obviously, F6 is going to be at the top here. Everyone's going to put a target on their back. And same thing with Prevail for the teams coming from the American Conference. So I think it's going to be interesting when we get into the 3-map playoffs. It's not just going to be the one and done, and it's going to be the you must win a round or you must win a map by two rounds. So I think we're going to be in store for some long games, and it's going to be super interesting.
Yeah, these upcoming matches are going to be definitely a lot more interesting, definitely a lot more intense than some of the matches that we have been seeing so far now that we are switching over to final settings. Not to mention all these teams that have came in here today, they're making it in there for a reason, and I know they've been hiding, especially Prevail, I know they've been hiding a lot of strats up their sleeves that I can't wait to see them bring to the table this year.
Even Farside, when we had them on, Jack said he was hiding a bit of strats. Kind of like the EG players. I don't know if you guys watched their most recent pro game, but their bans, obviously giving away a lot of strats. They went with 2 no bans. So I have put together a quick demo of what I believe the playoffs would be, because I believe how it's going to work is the 1 seed plays the 8 seed. Like if you just take all of the points together, and if we do it like that, we have F6 in first, then Prevail, then Check 6, LGI, and then God tier, NH, or Shadow Gaming, whichever 2 of those teams, they would be in 5th and 6th. And then Farside Gaming 7th, Adderall Rush in 8th. So I have made a quick graphic. F6 and Adderall Rush would be playing. Prevail would be playing Farside. That's actually what that says. That's FG, not F6 in that graphic I showed you, Eclipse. And then LGI would be playing one of God tier, New Horizons, Shadow Gaming. Check 6 would be playing one of God tier, New Horizons, Shadow Gaming. And so we on the screen, I believe, Raven will put the actual playoff bracket, whatever it is. But do you guys want to make your own predictions and stuff?
Yeah, Max, you go ahead first, so dude.
Max, can you see this graphic? Because you're on mobile, right?
I am on mobile, and I can see the
You can?
hand-drawn graphic. Um, are we looking for finals, or are we looking for like top 4 teams?
Top 4 and then finals and then winner.
Okay. In all reality, I think Prevail is going to take over F6. I love F6 as a team. I think they're very
That's
strong.
Farside.
I think they're.
In that game. That's not F6, actually.
Is that Farside game?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
my
his
handwriting.
G looks like a 6, almost identical.
Yeah.
We won't go there. Yeah.
Okay.
F6 is in the
F6
left.
Okay, fair enough. F6 is going to take out AR. Adderall Rush. I can already see that. They've been studying them very hard. Adderall Rush is a very aggressive team. They get a little bit cocky when they start getting in the lead, when they start getting those kills that they need to get. They're very they're a very powerful gun skill heavy team that from some of the matches that I have seen over like actual strats and like going up against defensive. So holding long angles against them and waiting for them to push you is actually a very valuable strat. And I feel Farside has definitely noticed that over the last couple of weeks watching them play, especially now with their 5th player. So I can see F6 taking over AR. I won't think it'll be close. I think it'll be a 3 map. I think it'll be something because it's going to take at least a map to get used to that. It's going to take at least a map to just kind of figure out what's going on. But yeah, in the end, I feel like it's going to be F6 taking that. LGI versus God tier NH. I'm just going to assume it's God tier.
All right, let's go with this. So let's assume that it ends up being, because I think this is the most likely situation. Let's assume that it ends up being God tier and New Horizons being the playoffs.
Okay.
God
So
tier,
say,
God tier being the one on the left against LGI. Wait, how would that work? LGI would end up playing God tier, yeah. So God tier would be playing LGI. And then New Horizons would be playing Check 6.
okay. So I think, and that's as much as I hate to say it, I feel LGI would take over God tier.
Interesting.
Just like I already know they have lost a couple games. They haven't really been on their mode, but I know LGI has been training very heavily for playoffs. I know they have a lot of unseen strats that are going to definitely throw God tier off for sure. So that being said, I don't even think it'll go to map 3. To be honest, I feel like LGI is going to take both maps, and that is a hard, like clear advantage. LGI is going to take over God tier on that. No offense to God tier. I used to be a part of them. I'm friends with a lot of them. I think they're very skilled players. And against any other team, I feel they'd hold a little bit better. But against LGI's play style, I think LGI is just going to clean sweep both maps. Whatever. It doesn't matter what map they pick. Attack or defense, they're going to clean sweep. For the other side, Prevail versus FG. Prevail's going to take over FG. I love you, Jack. Prevail's gonna take over FG. And then when it comes to Check 6 versus New Horizon, that one's gonna be very close of a match. And even after today with the 7-2, I feel like Check 6 was playing a lot different. Maybe it was because of Villa Matt, maybe because they just weren't in their head today, but I've seen them play a lot differently compared to what they were playing today. And to be honest, I feel like it'd be a lot close. But that being said, no offense to you, Eclipse, I feel like it'd be Check 6. I feel like Check 6 would be the one to take map 3. However, it also depends on the map. If you guys get Villa, I feel Villa would be that map. As well as on defense, if you guys don't push as aggressively towards some of the attackers on if you guys don't make any unnecessary pushes, then I feel like that could be an NH situation. But from just looking at play style now, from comparison from like past games that I've seen, I feel like it could Check 6.
That hurts. But,
Yep, I know. I knew it would. I'm sorry. When it comes to Prevail versus Check 6 and FG versus LGI, I feel like Or no, it'd be F6 versus LGI. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be Prevail versus Check 6 and F6 versus LGI. Again, I feel LGI would take over F6. I feel like LGI is going to make it to the finals, and I just have such a strong feeling on that. I feel like in the end, it's going to be LGI versus Prevail.
And then, what are your finals predictions for that LGI versus Prevail?
That one, I honestly couldn't tell you. The Prevail versus Check 6 game would be huge. That would be a very close match, I feel. Check 6 is a very powerful team. They've beaten Prevail in the past, but I feel Prevail has grown a lot since then. They've gotten a lot better since then. They've gotten a lot more coordinated as a team. They've worked a lot harder since then. So I feel Prevail would probably take, I feel Prevail would probably take out Check 6, but Check 6 would definitely give them a run for their money. Again, though, Prevail versus LGI, I couldn't tell you. It would be the hardest match to tell. Prevail is a very intel heavy team. They're very drone heavy. They have very well strats that throw people off on defense. They adapt very well. But on the other hand, LGI's gun skill is extremely well. They have equally as good strats. They're equally as well as adapting. And I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Let's hear Eclipse's thoughts on these.
All right, for my predictions, so the F6 versus Adderall Rush and Prevail against Fireside, those are set, like those are for sure, correct?
Yeah, those are for sure matches.
Okay. So I think F6 takes that. I don't think it's going to be close. That'll be a 2-map win. Prevail is going to take Fireside. Again, I don't think it's going to be close. It'll be 2 maps. Going off the same thing that Mex went off of, I think God Tier takes that. Personally,
Really?
I think it goes to map 3, and I think God Tier gets it on a map pick. I think they get a map that they know that they like as the 3rd map. And I think that takes it. Again, I think it'll be close. I think it's going to be like either 7-5 or maybe we'll even see some triple overtime going back and forth. It's going to be close games. But I think God Tier, especially in recent scrims that we've done against them for sure, like we used to, no offense to them, but like after they made their roster changes, we were 7-0ing them, 7-1ing them in scrims, and these past scrims, they've given us a run for our money. Now we've had subs some of the games, but some of them we haven't, and they've been putting rounds up on us. So I mean, I don't think God Tier should be counted out of that game at all. So I think they sneak one out on that. And then, obviously, I think New Horizons is going to 2-map Check 6. But that's just me. No, I'm just joking. But no, I think we'll be able to pull off the wins against Check 6. I think it might go to map 3, depending on what maps we play, though, because I know they're strong on certain maps. We're strong on certain maps. So I think the map banning phase for the series between Check 6 and us is going to be the most vital. It's going to be who gets more maps they like and who defends first, who attacks first, and stuff like. It's all going to come into a factor. It's going to be strat heavy. It's going to be intense. I think I'll make this prediction right now. The Check 6 versus NH first round of the playoffs. That's going to be the one everyone wants to watch because it's going to be intense. So that all being said, so if God Tier wins and NH wins, who would they play, Prevail or F6? What would the ladder look like after that?
The next matchup would be F6 versus God Tier, and then Prevail versus New Horizons.
Okay, so I think F6 takes God Tier out. I think it's a 2-map sweep on God Tier, but I think it's a lot closer than what the 2 maps would show. So I think F6 makes it finals, and then Prevail against us. I mean, I haven't really done any studying on Prevail quite yet, so I don't know their playstyle. I don't know their stuff like that. So I mean, that could go either way, I would say at this point, just because I've never played them. We've never scrimmed. I have no intel on them at all. But obviously, they're a strong team, so I'm gonna say it goes to map 3 on that one as well. I think no matter who wins, NH check 6, having to go through Prevail is going to be the ultimate test to get into that finals. And I think finals wise, whoever wins that game against Prevail in the second round is going to take the finals. They're going to win it all. I don't think F6 has enough to deal with Prevail or check 6 or NH if we get to that finals. Now, personally,
no, I know. I see what you're saying. So you're basically saying it's either Prevail is going to win against you or check 6 and then take the whole finals, or you're going to win against Prevail and take it all, or you or check 6.
I think Prevail, check 6, NH. Whoever wins that, because sorry to Farside Gaming, like respect and everything like that, but I don't think you guys are going to beat Prevail. So I think whoever wins that game against Prevail, whether it's check 6, NH. They're gonna win it all, because I just don't think F6, from what I've seen recently anyways, I just don't think they have what it takes to compete with Prevail or check 6 or us if we get there.
The only reason I said it was gonna be like F6 getting taken out by whoever wins LGI. If it's either LGI or God tier, whoever wins that is definitely gonna win against F6. And the only reason I say that is because some of the last games they have been falling behind a little bit, and not to mention they just lost their coach. So that's like that just, I don't know. I love F6. Like I said, I love to death, but I don't feel like they're going to be in the finals for me. Like the final game.
Yeah.
I think they're still a powerful team. I still think they're great. I just don't feel they're gonna make it to that final setting. I could be wrong though.
Who do you have winning it all? If you had to make snap decision right now, who's winning it all?
From what I've seen, because I've been here since February, you have to understand I've been here quite a while. From what I've seen, it's Prevail.
Yeah, so you have Prevail taking out LGA.
You also have to understand Prevail at one point was like 20-0 in their record. It took a long time. It took a long time for people to finally be able to beat them.
You have to also take into account though that national, and this is no disrespect to any teams in the American League, but the National League is so heavily stacked compared to the American League.
I think so too.
Like there is at least all the way from check 6 or F6 at the top of the standings all the way down to Reborn, and then obviously no disrespect to Centurion and NT. I know Centurion came in late and Prime Elite and stuff like that, but I think all the way from F6 down to Reborn, they're all strong teams that can have their day and win. Like we tied Reborn. We had 2 subs because we had some issues getting people on for our 3D game, and they beat us with 2 subs. So I mean, anyone can win depending on circumstances, stuff like that. And then you look at the American standings, and other than those top 4 teams, maybe top 5 teams, there's just not a whole lot of competition. Again, I don't mean any disrespect.
No. I completely understand. A lot of people in Discord or in the Discord feel the same way. A lot of people in Collective feel the same way about that the standings are a little bit uneven. They're a little bit unfair because there's a lot more.
Again, I've never watched Prevail, but I think you put Prevail into our league, the National League, and you swap someone over like 3D into the American Siege one instead. I think 3D is up there at least in second place, and I think Prevail I think they'd be check 6 kind of area, or possibly tied with us in God tier. I think that's where they see up.
You have to look at it from point of view of what I've seen. I've seen them face God tier. I've seen them face F6. I've seen them face check 6 back when they were Icon. I've seen them face AR. They've won against every single one of those teams. However, that being said, they have grown a lot. They have a lot of the team, not just Prevail, but a lot of the teams have grown a lot. They've got a lot of new members. They've progressed a lot more. Their strats, their communication has gotten a lot better over the time that they've been playing. But I don't know. I just from what I've seen, I feel like it would be Prevail. But at the same time, I kind of want LGI to win. I've been rooting for them from the start a little bit. I don't take favorites. I try not to, but LGI is a team that I've had my eye on quite a bit.
Man says he doesn't take favorites.
I don't. I try not to take favorites because I don't have. It doesn't affect me either way. This is coming from this is coming from a fan's point of view. I don't get any. I don't get any money. I don't get any. I'm not helping, giving advantage to any team. I'm not coaching for anybody. I'm not playing for anybody. So it doesn't affect me in any way. But like from a fan's point of view, from watching like somebody rise up, somebody that's never been heard of to get to their place now in the finals, like there's somebody I've had my eye on. So to see them take it all,
they're not in the finals yet, there, boss.
Well,
easy. I know we're talking like hypotheticals, but let's they're
in the final matches is what I meant, not like last match. I'm saying finals as in like against you guys, against like the top 8 teams.
Yeah,
they're in that.
I don't know. I think if like I said, if we make the finals, I think we'll win it. If Prevail makes the finals, I think they win it. If Check 6 makes the finals, they're gonna win it. I think just whoever has to go through Prevail or Prevail themselves will win it all.
So we have Eclipse saying it's either going to be Prevail, New Horizons, or Check 6. We have Mex saying it's Prevail. Anyways, we have a couple clips to talk about. This is a wonderful clip that your teammate Vadox did. These 3 are from the game today, which kind of secured you guys a spot in playoffs.
Yep.
We don't officially know yet.
And it was Vadox. Oh, I hate this guy.
So we're just going to watch. And you'll see what Vadox is doing.
Oh, yeah. Smiley face. Hype.
I love this. Did you realize what he was doing?
I had no idea, but it's good because it's like the lips are perfectly at Crouch level, and then it's like the eyebrows and eyeballs are kind of like those head level peaks. No, I had no idea who was doing that though. He said he was doing it like when we first started playing the game. He's like, I'm making smiley faces everywhere, but it's all about getting into your opponent's heads. They start seeing smiley faces, they think you're not going to try.
And then this after that was also from Vadox, and maybe that smiley face was good luck because we're just going to watch this clip real quick here. No, feel free to talk about what the comments are about.
Is this the clutch round?
Yes.
Okay, so first thing I'm going to say, right there for Nicholo getting the frag onto me, at 30 seconds, why are you upstairs? Why are you still upstairs? Anyways, okay. I was just super salty about that kill. But anyways, no, so right here, we're basically telling them, don't move. Like, just don't move. They don't know where you are. And that's obviously Diffuser. So right now, we're just basically coaching them through just like, don't move, don't move, don't move. And then you'll see here in a second, he sees just a flash of like Twitch's hip pocket right there. And then at this point, we know the plant's going down, and we're just like, wait for the timer to run out and then peek it. So we knew as soon as, whether it's a kill, whether it's a down, he's going to do that. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of extracurriculars on that one, but we'll just ignore that. But no, like, yeah, but that clutch, and then there was also the clutch by Dom playing Capcan. Again, both of those clutches, the entire team was coaching. Our communication was on fire today. Like, with Dom upstairs, now I was the only one to see it, but when he shotgunned the, who was it? Zofia, I think, maybe? I want to say it was a Zofia. But when he shotgun killed Zofia, I was the only one to actually see that diffuser pop out of her back pocket. And as soon as I called that out, we just all were like, yeah, run. Just run, because we knew that the other guy was on the other side of sight, and there was, 4 seconds left in the round. So we just told him, run, survive, and we ended up getting that round as well. So, I mean, just big plays by multiple people today.
Yeah, and this one, it's not really a clutch or anything. This is on match point for you guys, up 6-2 against Check 6. Pretty impressive. I'm not sure like if they were like going full out like they normally would in a game because they didn't have anything on the line for themselves today. only for other teams.
I mean, I'm not going to really comment on all of the people talking in the chats and stuff like that about, oh, they're not trying because they're already in the playoffs. Like, I mean, if you go into the playoffs and you haven't tried in your last few games and that's why you got some losses, that mentality is going to carry over. I don't care what people say or what they think about stuff like that. If you go into playoffs with like losing 2 games in a row, you are lying if you are saying that's not in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I don't care what team it is, you don't ever play to just screw around, especially in a league game. Like and for them to have the opportunity, if they beat us in this game, there's a high likelihood we don't make playoffs. If Czech sits beats us. So I mean, there would be no benefit to them throwing this game or not playing it all out, especially because it would eliminate us essentially from the playoffs. And not to toot my own horn, but we're a pretty strong team ourselves. So,
so we're gonna play this out. This is at 6-2. Minute 5 left in the round, and it's a 4v5. And the plan actually goes. It's a 4v4 actually. Sorry, and the plan ends up going down. I want you to like run us through like what the comms were like at this point. So you get the plants going down. Like, what do you like? What's home shot calling out? Like, cover me. Watch this angle, watch that angle.
So basically right here, basically all we were doing is we knew we had this control because we droned out this side. So we knew that Jaeger was going to be somewhere on this side, but we didn't know where. Droned out the top floor over by master bedroom and astronomy and stuff like that. We knew he wasn't there. Got an air jab at astronomy stairs to alert us to anything from that. And then we knew from that, once that's all clear, if that air jab goes off, me and home shot are both turning around and looking over there. Now, us getting into this fire right here and me taking out the lesion behind the desk, or behind the sofa, I guess you could call it, I think. But yeah, so me fragging him out, as soon as that frag was off, home shot, me and home shot were communicating the whole time. As soon as that frag went off, a second here, get on the clip. But as soon as the frag goes off, he just goes in, runs for the plant. As soon as he gets plant down, I'm basically, while he's planting, my whole mentality is that I'm watching the person to run out of, if there's somebody still in the cellar, I'm killing the person who runs out to try and deny plant. And then the air job going off on the stairs is just, it's a free kill basically. He was just kind of spazzing out with the firing as soon as he could. But that was essentially a free kill. But yeah, like, I mean, our communication, I don't know what it is, but on attacking, for whatever reason, our communication is just on point. Defense, we had a couple of lapses in judgment, especially when me and home shot were roaming on astronomy side on a couple of our first defenses. But I mean, our communication has just been so on point recently. When we have our starting roster, it's insane. I can't be more happy with the guys.
Yeah, obviously some great communication shown there. Great win from you guys, 7-2. Anything you or Mex want to say at all?
Just about the win, or
yeah, about any of these clips or anything.
Well, obviously, I think the good thing I can say about my team is that it's not like we have one person who's just on every single round. You know what I mean? Like, we all have our rounds, we all have our roles to play. You saw the clutch from Badox. You saw the clutch from wait, was it 2 Badox?
Yeah.
No, sorry. So I think Badox actually had 2 clutches in the game, and then we had Dom have a clutch, and then I was on the first round. I got a 3K on the first round, so I'm just gonna go ahead and call that a clutch for myself. But like, we all had our times and our moments, and we just all stepped up to them. You know what I mean? So, I mean, Czech 6 is a good team, and I'm not following the hype that they were throwing this game, or they were not trying to win it, because you look at a couple of their top scoring players. Like, you don't get scores that high if you're throwing. Like, they had 2 to 3 players just absolutely going off, and then, like I said in my interview, we target banned Jello on purpose. So, I mean, I'm so sorry, not sorry about that, but we were not giving them Jackal. we did our research and we were just not giving them Jackal. But I still think they're going to be a super strong team, and going into playoffs, I think they'll have some strats and some play styles up their sleeve. So I think it's going to be interesting to say the least, especially if this is the last game of the season and then we have to play them in the first round of the playoffs. Like, it's going to get intense. There's going to be trash talk. There's going to be, you name it, it'll be there, and it'll be intense.
It's like any playoff sport.
Oh yeah, but no, it's I can't even get into it. It's just going to be so insane, just because like even during the season and stuff like that and whatnot, there's been kind of some back and forth behind closed doors between Check Six and us. So I mean, it'll be interesting to say the least, and I think there'll be a lot of shouting for whichever team ends up losing the series. Now I don't know what you think about it, Mex. Just the last game here. I know you kind of disconnected there and got back, but we're just talking about the Eclipse and my team's last win here and what your thoughts are on them.
Honest opinion or me being nice opinion?
Go honest, man, always.
Okay, I thought your guys' held up in trophy was amazing. It was probably one of the better holds I've seen in quite a while. Your guys' holding game needed a little bit of work on the first one around, but the second time held it together. I thought Check Six threw 2 rounds on defense. That is my personal opinion. Nobody can change my mind on that. I really felt they did. They just played extremely sloppy on their attack. However, I thought your guys' clean sweep on attack was well justified. I thought I literally couldn't say anything else. You needed to do exactly what was needed. I really liked some of the flanks you guys did, especially with Twitch coming up on. I can't remember who it is. I remember he was Jaeger, but I remember it was Twitch coming up on Jaeger for that flank for that last couple of minutes. Yeah. When he was coming in there, because if Twitch wouldn't have came up for that flank, he possibly could have got another kill, and that could have switched up something. But I thought that was very nice. I thought your guys' drone work was used well. So
I'll play devil's advocate on what you just said about their 2 thrown rounds. Now, are they throws or are they going outside the box because they're trying to get something? They're trying to make something work at that point, being down.
Or maybe mistakes, if we think about it
like
that way.
Mistakes because...
No, it wasn't down 4-2. It was you guys were tied, and it was a 2v1 situation that they could have won easily and lost.
Oh, when they were on attack?
When they were on attack. No, your guys' attacks were fine. Yeah. There was 2 rounds where they were on attack that they threw.
But as much of that as a throw, like, yes, that Zofia running through the hallway to get killed by Dom, the cap can at the time, and then timer ran out. If that person would have went directly into say, yeah, you're right, that would have sealed the round. But as much as I want to, as you say that's a throw, I'm just going to call that lapse of judgment, not a throw.
Because that wasn't the one I was calling a throw.
Okay, which one?
The biggest one that I seen was just a blatant throw to me was downstairs in kitchen.
Oh, the one where they had no idea where the castle was. They grabbed the bomb, went for the plant.
Yep. They both had a drone. They watched no wrong angles. And from what I've seen them play before, they would never expected somebody to just leave diffuser like that when it's down.
15 seconds left,
15 seconds left, and they couldn't throw out one drone.
I mean,
there's 2 people.
I'm not
one person went for the
either.
No, but there's 2 people. You throw out one drone just to get or even just take a second to peek around that corner to find out where Castle was. Even if it's just a second, and there was 20 seconds left as they were entering the kitchen.
There's so many variables. There's so many variables though going on. That you got people in your ear. You got stuff going on. Like,
not to mention when I seen that, I was so surprised that from where he was looking, like, because the Castle missed the first couple of shots, and the Zofia that was supposed to be watching the flank didn't utilize on that and let him kill that Twitch. I cannot be convinced that wasn't a throw or a lapse of judgment.
Oh, for sure, lapse of judgment. I'm gonna show Check Six the respect they deserve, though. Like, and I'm not saying you're disrespecting them, but I'm not saying they threw any of those rounds. I think they tried, and I think they had some lapses of judgment at time, and then they paid the price for it, right? As every other team would.
Yeah, I think they did try. I think they did very well. I still think Czech 6 is a very wonderful team.
Oh, for sure.
Those 2 rounds, I got a little bit upset on watching that as like a coach's point of view.
Oh, yeah.
From a commentator's point of view, I got a little upset watching that, just because I've seen them play it differently. On that, I've seen them go into those situations before, and the outcome be a lot different. But 2 times in a row just kind of upset me. On their defensive, however, there was a couple things here and there that a lot of people would like to point out. Personally, I think they held it just about as well as they could have. Your guys' attack strategy was a lot better on Villa, and especially with Villa being not just only theirs, but a lot of people's not strong map. I know there's a lot of teams that when they go to Villa, they just kind of don't what are we going to do?
Yeah.
So to see that, they held their defense as well as they could have for that map knowledge. I feel like they would have been a little bit stronger on defense had they maybe gone on like Oregon or Border or Coastline or anything like that, where they're a lot more comfortable, a lot more familiar. But I think it was very smart taking them to Villa. You guys put them out of their comfort zone. You guys made them have to try new things that they probably weren't used to trying outside of maybe a couple games of ranked. But they haven't put detailed focus into how they were going to attack and how they were going to defend onto that map per se, all the other maps that have been in rotation. So I thought that was very smart. When I seen you guys took them to Villa, I thought that was a very smart, very bold strategy. And, I mean, it paid out. It paid out perfectly in your guys' order. I like your guys' attack. I thought there was very few instances where I thought there was a little bit of a sloppy push or, even just a wrong angle turned or just something like that. But even then, it was so minuscule that it didn't affect the round. And, yeah, I mean, you guys won that fair and square, in my opinion. So, congratulations on that. I really
appreciate it.
I was in the comment section watching that. There was, like I said, there was only 2 rounds that upset me that I thought was very sloppy by Czech 6. But other than that, I thought both teams played the best of their ability. And you guys just happened to come on top. You had better strats for that. You had better attacks. You had more map knowledge, I feel, as well, than they did. Because if you notice, they weren't really playing anybody from down below with C4s on defense. If you
They tried to on the one.
They tried to
countered it right away.
Right, like on the one, but like effectively, there wasn't really much play vertically. So again, yeah. I feel like if it was on the other map, I feel like it may have been a little bit closer. If anything, I don't think it would have been a 7-2. But, yeah. So, that's my official opinion on it. That's my official opinion on that last map. The F6 match, that was so hilarious to me to watch. That was just so hilarious for me to watch on both ends. I believe I casted that game as well. I was very excited. I was very excited to see a team actually stand a chance against them. That was the first time in first instance, really, I've seen F6 sort of, get a little bit pressured, kind of not really know what to do because their strats weren't really working. So that was something new and exciting to watch content-wise. And like I tell everybody, I tell every team, I tell every commentator that comes in, I'm strictly here for the content. That's what I do. That's my job. I try to bring in content for these VODs to try to get more people to watch it. I try bringing in more views. That's my one and only job here at Collective, is to try to get the best content, the best clips, the best matches, the best outcomes, the underdogs, whatever I can get. And you guys really showed that on that F6 match. So that was a very fun match for me to be able to cast.
Yep.
Is there anything else we're talking about before closing this out?
No.
Or no? Okay. Eclipse, did you want to say anything before I said my last thing, and then
I'll just I'll say shout out to my team, guys. Obviously, shout out to NH. Hopefully, you guys get some views on this. Get it skyrocketed up there, so it can be the most viewed podcast. I'd appreciate it. I'm sure Max would appreciate it, as well as DuckGuy. So make sure you hop in here and watch. I hope you enjoyed the show. Honest opinions all around, which is always good. And just shout out to all the collective. And if we make playoffs, just don't treat us like an underdog. Also, I'll just finish out on that. All right, you're up, Max.
That's fair. I guess what I want to say kind of comes from the heart, kind of comes from the announcement that I put out in the collective today. I just wanted to. I've been here a long time, and I know it's gonna be a little bit late, probably like a week or two before people see this. But that being said, I've been here quite a while. I've been here since the beginning of February, so I've been here a few months. I've seen a lot of teams rise. I've seen a lot of teams fall. I've seen the family growth of collective, not only view wise but just membership wise, and I just wanted to say thank you to every team that has came in here today, that has tried their hardest, that has showed love to our family and helped us grow. Thank you guys, everybody for the support so far. And with this coming into the finals of our season, coming into the last few matches that we have before we, claim the champion, a collective, claim the prize, all that, big awards and everything. I want to thank my commentators. Everybody has been wonderful this year. I'm glad I've got to work with so many good voices to put onto these VODs to keep you guys coming in for more matches. And yeah, I hope coming into next season, we do have a lot of stuff planned. We have so much stuff planned for next season. It is going to be so huge. We are bringing so many things to the table. And other than that, with that being said, that was it. Really, I just want to say thank everybody in collective for sticking with us and helping us get through this first league. I want to thank all the admins too. I know all of us have been under a lot of stress. We've been trying to put so much work on all of our plates and just trying to continue to keep collective running. And it's been, it's been a journey for sure. So I want to thank everybody, not only the teams, but also the admins, and just, that's all I had to say, really.
I have been DuckGuy, player for Miracle Esports. This is my the other host, Mex. And thank you, Eclipse, for coming on here. And
Anytime.
we'll see you guys next time.